Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. Yes, I am back again. I don't have much to record. I've gone over a lot of the things that I want to go over the last couple of days. So today it's just going to be a good old full day of eating. So whoever's doing cardio, whoever's just doing chores and errands around the house, they can have this around the background to eat their food with. Whatever the case is, if you're on prep, enjoy it, have a good time. This morning, what I've done so far is Wednesday morning check-in. So it's been a very, very busy Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday are always my three busiest days. Don't get me wrong, Thursdays and Fridays are still busy, but Mondays and Tuesdays are pretty crazy, like 15 check-ins per day, if not more, dependent on time zones and stuff, right? So check-ins have been smashed out, and it was actually my check-in day today. So I'll pop some photos up here to the left of me of how I've been looking. I weighed in this morning at 84.3. So I was actually 85.5 last week. So I've dropped a little bit of weight, but I'm not too mad about that because my rate of gain has been pretty exponential, or exponential, I should say, whatever the word, you know which word I'm looking for, right? And my average for the week is still higher than the previous week, right? So that's why you look at averages, not spikes, because I can have one crazy spike in weight, but that could be simply down to maybe a bit more sodium, a bit more water intake closer to bed, or pushing my meals back further, stress, lack of sleep, all these different things. So that is why I look at the average weight for all of my clients, and then also my coach does. So there's been no changes yet again to the enhanced side of things, to food. Everything is the same, but I have had an increase to a bit of volume within my training, mostly towards my delts, my chest and my back, or my lats more specifically. So that's been increased. It is currently 11:30. So I've been working since 6:30 a.m. and I have not done anything except for drink water, my electrolyte, creatine and glutamine. And I had 2 coffees and doing check-ins and getting back to inquiries. I had a client I just onboarded today. So Fahad, welcome to the teammate. Pleasure to have you on board. And then I've onboarding Lazo from previous video. If you remember me mentioning him, he's starting tomorrow. So I will be onboarding him today, getting everything ready. Most of his programming is already done, just a few final tweaks. I'm on 8,500 steps as of this morning already on the walking pad as always. And I'm about to make my pre-workout meal, which is 150 grams of chicken, which is in the new air fryer. Very exciting stuff. I literally just chop it up, chuck it in there on 190 degrees for 13 minutes. That's how I like it. I don't know if I'm weird because I prefer my chicken a little bit drier, just always have. And then also I've got my vegetables for the day all sorted in here. And I've got a bit of tomatoes for my eggs meal, but this is 250 grams of carrots. So 100 grams with my pre-workout meal, and then 150 grams with my meal number 3. Or meal number 4 even. So that's in there all cooked up, and I'll just chuck it in the fridge. And also, instead of having rice today, I've gone for pasta because I felt like it. And I think that's another topic I'll very quickly touch on, is having a bit of flexibility during your off season, which I always like to give all of my clients. There it is. That's 210 grams of pasta total, 125 grams in my pre-workout meal and 85 grams in my meal number 4. But having sort of that flexibility to make a few adjustments here and there, I think is always a good thing and a great thing for overall enjoyment, sustainability and adherence to the plan. So with all of my clients, I'll give them choices to switch between things like potato, rice or pasta, right? Changing carb sources, or even if they've got a suggestion, I'm always more than happy to add that as an option on their meal plan. But then also meats, right? Instead of chicken, going for things like tuna, white fish, 2% or very lean turkey mince, turkey breast, whatever it is, right? Having those choices makes it a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable, but then they're all put on the plan so they don't need to guess them, if that makes sense. Like for example, one client as meal number 1 might have 3 completely different options, so they can change things about. I always like to do that. I've taken my morning supplements, vitamin C, 2,000 milligrams, and a quarter of a serving of the cardiac support. I'm going to make another 1.5 liters of water with my electrolytes. I'll chef up this meal and I'll take you through it. And instead of using macadamia nut oil today, a bit of flexibility, I'm going to use almond butter on top of it. But I'll take you through that now. The scrumptious meal has been created, and basically 125 grams of raw weight pasta, 150 grams of raw weight chicken, 100 grams of carrot, 50 grams of beetroot, 14 grams of almond butter from Costco. And I actually used the Melinda's black truffle hot sauce on this one here. Voila, super expensive. I think it was like 10 quid off of Amazon. It goes really good with eggs, so I thoroughly enjoy it with eggs. Now, another thing I definitely have to do today is clean up my flat because it's a bit messy and I've got to sort it out. But anyway, legs on the cards. Give you a little taste test of this, which is fantastic. I am starving because it is currently 11:45. And yeah, it's been a long time. Okay, anyway, let's eat. Bit of chicken. Seasoned to perfection. And that sauce goes really well with the pasta, actually. Really like that. All right, time to eat. Let's have a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant day. Positivity all around. Life is good. A fantastic day worth of check-ins as well. Everyone, I mean everyone, is nailing it, especially coming up to the end of the year, which just sets everyone up for a fantastic 2026, which I cannot complain about. And also, I'll be dieting January time, so woohoo, here we go. Anyway, right, catch you soon. See you later. We are back from the gym and I am absolutely annihilated. I'm dead. I'm actually fried. It was one of those sessions where, motivation wasn't sky high. Yesterday, I didn't have the best session. I had a massive headache within the gym and I don't know if my body's calling for some sort of deload. I haven't taken much time off of the gym in a long, long time. And today's leg session, I showed up. I got it done nonetheless. I'll pop up my hack squat set here. I filmed just one set, my top set, 5 plates per side for 6. And going into that set, all the exercises leading up to it, everything in my body was telling me, Mikey, just go home. Don't do this session. You're battered. You deserve a break. And trust me, I wanted to go home so badly. But then I remembered one thing that I always tell every single one of my clients is showing up on the days that you don't want to and that your body's fighting against it. Obviously with a bit of a caveat to it. Sometimes you've got to have a bit of fatigue management in there, the awful F word. But yeah, like my body was telling me to go home, not do that session whatsoever. But then, yeah, I wanted to show up on the day I really didn't want to because I truly think that's where the most progress happens. But most importantly, those are the days that separate you from everyone else because most people wouldn't be willing to do it. Most, I guess, normal people would go home and call the session there. But that's where you build that mental resilience and discipline within yourself to tell yourself to do it no matter how you're feeling. And am I glad I did it? Hell yeah. I don't think there's ever been a time in the existence of anyone going to the gym where you get there after not wanting to go and you leave the gym thinking, I still wish I didn't went. No, you always feel glad that you went and that you pushed yourself and that you got the session done and you fought yourself mentally. And I know for me, it was a great feeling and I'm really glad I got it done. Now, does that mean the rest of the session went fantastic just because I hit a really heavy weight on the hack squat? No, it battered me even more if I'm honest to you. However, it just reinforced in my brain that I've got power over my own body. I know it sounds cringy, but it's just true. I got it done. And even though it maybe wasn't the best set and I almost died nearer to the end of it, I literally thought it was going to squash me. I was absolutely obliterated. I still got it done and I wouldn't have made that progress that I made throughout the session if I wouldn't have done it, if that makes sense. So yeah, just got home, showered, got back to all clients throughout the session. All responses done, and now I'm making my post-workout meal, which is oats, 100 grams of oats, 50 grams of whey, 200 grams of berries. And the way that I do it is I do 100 grams of oats, I do 500 milliliters of water, I put it in the microwave for 3 minutes, stir, 2 minutes, stir, and then I'll show you what I do after that. But actually I've got to add the water first. I'll take you through how I make them because I've changed my recipe for my oats. Quickly, whilst my oats are being created, I'm about to take my supplements, which I forgot to take earlier, like the main ones I usually have with my pre-workout meal, but that's an Ultimate B complex. I take 2 servings of vitamin D3 plus K2. I take 2 servings of advanced omega-3s, usually split throughout the day. I take 1 tablet of minoxidil, 2.5 milligrams, and that's for hair loss. I take 1 iron and vitamin C tablet there, and then also 2 servings of zinc and trimagnesium, well 1, but split throughout the day. So I have 2 servings total. So that's everything I have supplement-wise, including the vitamin C and the heart health support in the mornings as well. And those are my supplements. And then the electrolytes, 10 grams of creatine, 10 grams of glutamine as well. I always have electrolytes before my workout. So well, no, sorry, I make them before my workout. So I drink them during the actual session and then first thing in the morning as well, because that's when we're most dehydrated and then when we get the most dehydrated because we sweat during our sessions and stuff. So time to get these down the hatch and I'll take you through the rest of the oats recipe. Okay, so on to the exciting bit. Now that the oats are done, so they're relatively all cooked up, still a bit watery. However, the protein powder does thick it up, so don't stress about that, especially if you're using Perform. What I've done is I've got 50 grams of Dubai chocolate protein powder in there, an absolutely unreal flavor in oats. So good. And I make it into a very, very thick whey paste, okay? The reason I do that is because I don't want it to get any more waterier, but we all know when we make oats and cream of rice, if we add the actual protein powder in there directly, it gets all stuck to the sides. But if you make it as a whey paste and then mix it in, it's just a hell of a lot easier. And especially if you make it really thick. So that's what I've ended up doing recently. And then what I do is I whisk it all together using a whisk. That's the most important factor. And then I put it back into the microwave for another minute and a half. And then it ends up being like a cakey oats consistency. And it ends up being perfect every single time. So, you know, I won't take you through the actual mixing portion of it, but that's a relatively easy and simple way to make your oats a little bit more fun. And then once they're cooked, I mix in all the blueberries and everything else I want in there. Maybe add some flavor powder on top, and that's that. But of course, I'll show you when it's done. So let me make this, chuck it in the microwave, and then we will see the finished product. Okay, the oats are completely done. As you can tell, they are a lot thicker now, which is just how I like it, but it is piping hot. That is boiling. And then what I'm going to do is add 200 grams of this strawberries and blueberries mix, which is perfect if you buy it from Sainsbury's, because the strawberries actually come sliced up rather than whole ones, which take like a million years to melt, no matter how much or how hot you put them in something. You know what I'm trying to say there. But then I quite literally get my trusty baby spoon and I mix it all together. The reason I'm still using a baby spoon, yes, I'm still a little bit hungry, but it is so much easier eating oats and cream of rice with a baby spoon because it's flexible, so you can get all around the edges, if you know what I mean. I still don't want to waste any food. I want to eat it. I've got a great appetite, which is another thing I always say to my clients is, you know, it's normal to be hungry in the off season, especially nearer to the start of it as well, because, you know, where do you have to climb from there? Okay. If you're full right off of the get-go, you've got no room to grow. Okay. It's almost like, how are you going to get more food in? Your digestion's going to be off whack. And most of the time that will also correlate to body composition where you're a little bit too chubby to carry on the off season. And we want to be in a good primed spot. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been in an off season now for over 4 months and my food has not gone up whatsoever because I stayed way too lean post show. And then this last couple the last 7 weeks since I've started with Tim, my new coach, since I've been enhanced, my food started at 3,000 calories, 2,700 rest days. And it just hasn't had to go up from there because my weight has been going up, most likely due to training and also the anabolic assistance, right? Another thing, really cool thing here is More Chunky off of Amazon, not sponsored or affiliated or anything, salted caramel flavor powder. Absolutely insane. The best one I've ever used. Obviously ESN have got their own flavor powder, but this salted caramel one is one of the best I've ever used. And I just sprinkle like 3/4 of a scoop on top. It goes a really long way and it also tastes fantastic in coffee. But per scoop, you're looking at 8 calories, which is barely anything. Goes really well with like Greek yogurt or oats if you don't want to actually mix protein powder in it, or just as like a topping, whatever you prefer. It makes a massive difference and tastes fantastic. So I'm not going to gatekeep that. I've not seen anyone use that brand before and it is the best I have ever used. So there we are. There is the finished product of this meal. As you can tell, it looks fantastic. Let me give you a little close up. Have a look at that, all in its glory. Don't know if that makes sense, guys. Cut me some slack. I'm not actually English, all right? But no, that looks stupendously good. I'll give you a nice little taste test as always, and then I will chillax on the sofa and eat this and then get back to work. Pretty simple stuff. Let's give it a lovely, lovely scoop. Oh, I can't wait to eat this. Amazing. Honestly, 10 out of 10. I look forward to every single day, but not as much as my cream of rice before bed. But anyway, let's eat this. Let's carry on with the day. Not much else I need to say. See you in the next meal, or the time lapse, I should say. Okay, it is time for a pretty boring meal. This is my one carbless meal of the day, just because I like to have more carbs spread throughout the other meals. I'm simply on not enough food. If I split the carbs a little more evenly, then my meals would just be measly, and I'm okay with having one carbless meal. When I used to eat this in the morning, when time would work a lot better with me, it worked out absolutely fine because I'd essentially have the carbs and fat meal in the morning, which was this, which is just egg whites, egg and veg, and then I'd have my pre-workout. But because work's been really busy lately, and so has my schedule, I've moved it to the third meal of the day. So here it is. We've got 3 large eggs, 100 gram of egg whites, and 100 gram of veg. Now, I actually invested in a new Tefal pan for the non-stick feature, but it doesn't look like it's very non-stick at the moment. Let's see. Actually, it's not too bad. I think it's just that initial stick. And do you know what? I break it up every single time, which is just annoying, isn't it? Do you know what? I'm not going to use this. I'm going to get it in a bowl because it's a lot easier. Throw it all in there. To be honest with you, I actually don't care. It's just food at the end of the day. Presentation doesn't matter too much to me. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get it over. Let's kind of just scoop it out. That is going to be a lovely, lovely meal, as you can tell. And what it is just like I said, 3 large eggs, 100 grams of egg whites, and I've gone for tomatoes. Now, what I will do to spice that up a little bit is add a few things on top of that, just so it's not super, super boring. So, one, we'll get a seasoning of choice, which I have been going for this chicken seasoning on top of it. Don't ask me why, it actually works pretty well. So I'll kind of open up the eggs a little bit. So I've got the egg yolks because they're still a little bit runny. Believe it or not, I didn't destroy it that bad. So I'll open it up so I can season each portion of it. This is probably going to be the most boring segment of this video, but it doesn't matter too much. So get this, get a bit of chicken seasoning, and the reason I'm using chicken seasoning is because eggs come from chicken, right? That's my thought process. That makes no sense whatsoever, does it? Sorry, guys. And then I will maybe add a little bit of a sprinkle of salt on there as well through my little salt dispenser, because that one doesn't have a lot of sodium in, and I still like a little bit of salt with tomatoes especially. Salt with tomatoes is incredible. And then to top it off, I will also add some Melinda's hot sauce, which with eggs goes incredible. Shout out Brandon, one of my clients again. He was the one who recommended this. I'll do half Melinda's and then half ketchup because I like that combination. I like a variety of flavors in my diet, and I go for the 50% less ketchup because I use a very minuscule amount anyway. And yeah, it just tastes a little bit better actually, to be honest with you. So voila, there it is. There is a finished concoction. And next meal will be a little bit more exciting. It's another pasta meal. Here we are. There is that meal. Nothing special, nothing extravagant. It just kind of keeps me going whilst I'm doing a bit of work to wrap up the day. I've got a client onboarding to do now as well. Film it all and get it ready to send off tomorrow. So cheers. It tastes so good. I've got 0 complaints whatsoever. I've been watching the Unwrapped podcast, so that's really fun. Very educational as well, from Kyle Wilkes, Jack Eagles, his coach, and the guy who coached Nick Walker as well. I've been following him for ages through Anthony Mantello anyway, back when Anthony Mantello was competing like 3 years ago. That's when I first found out about him. And then now I'm watching the Think Big Bodybuilding Media podcast with Sas Harati, who's just come on now. So I'm going to listen to that, educate myself a little bit, and also be entertained. So let's eat this. I'll catch you in the next meal. Bet you missed me, even though it's been a split second for you guys. I am back and we are making meal number, what is it? Meal number 4, yeah. Meal number 4, it's roughly been like 2 hours since that last previous meal. And this meal is 175 grams of raw weight beef mince, which is cooking up in here. Char it up nice. And we've got the leftover pasta that I cooked in the morning, 85 grams raw weight, 150 grams of carrots in here. And then we're gonna add 10 grams of almond butter on that as well. But one thing, because I've just thought of a title for this video as I was doing a little bit of work, is post-show, right? I am 4 months post-show. I competed June the 29th. That was my final show. And what I'm going to do as well, if I remember, is to the left of me, I'm going to pop up a photo of when I was 70 kilograms. So my most depleted state of prep. And the lowest I weighed during prep, I believe, was 70 kilograms in this photo. The final show day, I was 71.2 or 71 kilograms. And now I'm weighing 85 kilograms, or near enough, right? My weekly average is around that 70, 85 mark range. So in 4 months, I am up 15 kilograms, okay? Which is pretty nuts if you think about it. That's a pretty insane rate of gain. Now, post-show, leading up to post-show, like almost 3 months post-show, I was only up how much weight, if I were to be honest with you? I think 5 kilograms, 5 to 5.5 kilograms in around 3 months. I think I made a massive mistake, as I mentioned earlier, that I stayed way too lean post-show, where my markers, in terms of how I felt, my post-show markers were still all over the whack in terms of sleep, libido, training performance, recovery, hunger, appetite. All these different things were all still in full throttle prep effect. And that's because I think I was a little bit too obsessed with how I looked post-show, and I wanted to stay as lean as I physically could. Also, given the fact that I was having a hair transplant surgery, I was like, right, well, I'm not going to be able to train for a month. I'm going to try stay as lean as I can, because why not? That was kind of my thought process behind it. And it definitely negatively impacted me ever so slightly, because I didn't feel too good, and I definitely left a lot of progress on the table due to the fact of me being way too lean. But then ever since I become assisted, so 7 weeks ago now, I went from 77 kilograms to 85 now. So in 7 weeks, I'm up, 8 kilograms in 7 weeks, or coming up to the 8th week, right? Let's call it 8 weeks. And that's a kilogram per week. So my weight's gone up a lot, and everyone manages post-show differently. I think for me, there was a massive weight increase as soon as I became assisted. And I was eating more food post-show than I am now, funny enough, right? I was eating maybe 3,500 calories most days on training days post-show, around 3,300 calories rest days. Not doing as many steps, not doing as much cardio. I think cardio was still in maybe 20 minutes 5 times a week, and steps, I lie, actually they were a little bit higher. That does make sense. But now I'm eating the least food I've ever ate during an off season, but I'm growing the most I ever have. So, that's the thing, that you've got to be smart with your food as well. And, it does suck, don't get me wrong. I want to be eating more food, because I've never had an off season where I've had to ever push my food high up. Now, that's why I'm excited for my dieting phase when it comes to January time, because I'm going to get shredded. And when I say shredded, I'm going to get shredded in a short period of time. We're looking at dieting for around 6 weeks, which I know, just with how I work and the consistency I put into the gym, cardio, food, etc., I will get shredded within 6 weeks. And I was speaking to one of my clients about this actually today, about the fact that, say, if you do have a mini cut or an appetite resensitization phase, which oftentimes I do like to program in, especially during long off seasons, you can get away with extreme diets or aggressive diets, aggressive deficits for a short period of time. So let's call it 6 to 8 weeks, and not risk the chance of losing muscle, because you're not prolonging that diet. If your training's on point, if your nutrition's planned accurately, you'll be completely fine. So, that's one thing that I'm going to be doing, then reversing out of that diet, and hopefully my body's going to be in a much more responsive state, just as it was post-show, where I can start climbing food up to new heights I've never seen it. I think the highest my calories have ever been, 3,600 maybe. So I really want to cross like 4,000, 4,500. That would be really cool to say. But unfortunately, my body just grows on little amounts of food. But then again, This is a whole new experience for me, so we will see how I respond to it. But that is why this title this video is titled like that. But anyway, it is time for this meal. So I've explained what it is. We're going to put it all in a bowl, and the seasoning I use, for any of you interested, is a Polish all-purpose seasoning. It's called Vegeta or Vegeta, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely fantastic, and goes with everything. Honestly, everything bar eggs. I don't really like it with eggs, if I'm completely honest with you, but I do like it with everything else. So there it is on the plate. Actually, I'll do it over here because it'll be easier for you guys to see. The camera will actually pick it up. I will also do 10 grams of almond butter in this. I just plonk it on top because I really enjoy almond butter with my savory meals a lot of the time, and my fat sauce with my sweeter meals is dark chocolate most of the time. So we'll get 10 grams there. That should be around 10 grams. Perfect. Get that right on top, all over. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And that is that meal complete. Nothing special, nothing crazy. I'm just going to crack on with a bit more work and not carry on yapping to you guys, because then this video will end up being long. But here you are, lovely, lovely stuff. I'll give you a taste test whilst there's a little bit of almond butter on the spoon. Can't go wrong with that. Lovely. That almond butter is thick. What I do as well with my almond butter, I've said that about 15 times in this segment, put the lid on nice and tight, put it in upside down so it stops it from clumping, and then all the oils going to the top and the bottom being really thick. I will, with this one here, get a Coke Zero, and I think I'm gonna go with a little bit of lighter than light mayonnaise, because I've got that sitting in my fridge and I've barely been using it. So why not? I'm gonna do a very small amount on there, just around the edges, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Boom. There we are. There is a light mayo. Caffeine-free Coke Zero, fantastic, hits the spot. I always like to have at least one of those a day. Sometimes I push it to 2, and that's more on rest days. But anyway, there we are. There is a meal complete. Time lapse time. Let's get to it. Oh my perform is what I should say. Look at that. Final meal of the day, going in 100 grams, 120 grams of cream of rice, 50 grams of whey, 85% dark chocolate, 25 grams of it, and 200 grams of fruit with a bit of cinnamon and flavor powder on top. I mean, does that not look insane? This sends me to sleep so well. Just going on to sleep on a full stomach is my favorite feeling ever. The dark chocolate is melting there. That is so aesthetically pleasing. Oh, I can't believe it. Then the flavors I've gone for: a cream of rice cinnamon donut, which is running out. Then I've got to go through my jammy biscuit, cherry bakewell, and I'm back to the old reliable white chocolate hazelnut. But anyway, there's still a little bit left of this one. Then we went for a 50-50 mix of Dubai chocolate with cherry bakewell, which is an unreal combination. I am so excited to eat this. It's the best part of my day. I look forward to it every single night. And what a brilliant day it's been today as well. Look at that. I found some lighting so I actually shine my camera on here. Look at those lovely flowers my grandma got me for my birthday. The first time I've ever received flowers in my life, which is actually really, really cool. I can't lie, it's a weird thing. But yeah, I've just been listening to a few podcasts, just onboarded the new client, Lazo. So everything is filmed, ready to send for him tomorrow, made those final few adjustments, and he will be prepping 2026. Got a big roster of competitive clients competing next year, which I cannot wait for. It's super, super exciting time. So 2026 is looking up to be a very, very big year. But let me give you a quick taste test of this. Let's give a little scoop of everything. John, I'll show you because it's more exciting. Here we are. Let's get this out. This is what I'm doing. I got to show you this, right? Look at that. Unreal. Let's flip the camera. Is it going to flip? There we are. I remembered that if I triple tap it, it flips it. Hopefully this won't go anywhere. Cheers. You can't tell me it is hard to diet when things like that exist. I promise you, make your food enjoyable, salivate over your food. That's where digestion first starts. And that's the one thing I really pride myself on with my coaching as well. A lot of the clients who sign up, first thing they message you is, oh my God, I love my diet. Or during the check-in feedback, everyone's saying, I still love my diet. I love it, I love it. It's because I make them enjoyable. And most importantly, I listen to feedback as well. So if someone isn't enjoying something or they want to add something to their diet, hell yeah, I'm gonna add it. The more enjoyment you have in something, the more effort you're gonna put in. And guess what? The more sustainable it is. Hence why my final meal of the day, I look forward to it every single day. Makes me stay on plan 100% for the whole day. And I've got this to look forward to. And just to give you guys a little bit of an update, because I know I mentioned in the previous videos, I was struggling a bit with the sort of food relationship side of things, because if any of you are new here, you know, without getting into it too deep, I have suffered with binge eating disorder. I've had therapy for it, you know, going back a couple years now, and it's something I've always struggled with. Never during a prep, it's always during like an off season or when I'm not prepping, right? But right now is the best I've ever been in terms of dieting. I had, you know, post-show, I absolutely nailed it for like 3-4 months, well, 3 months. And the last sort of 2 weeks when I moved flats, I had lots of shows for my client, and coaching was very busy as well. I think I was just incredibly stressed out and my routine wasn't 100% set on point whilst living in this new flat as well. So it just took a while to get adjusted to, but now things have been 100% on point. I've never seen so much development within my physique as well. Training's on point. I'm feeling the best mentally I've ever felt as well. And that's all down to me adjusting the diet a bit, being open with my coach saying, hey, I don't really like some of these foods. Can I change them? Can I adjust where a bit of the macronutrients are? Because of course, I still know what I'm doing. I'm a coach myself, and I could coach myself by at the end of the day, right? However, I don't have a coach for that specific reason. I have a coach there, one, to kind of ease that burden off of me making my own decisions and being maybe a bit more hypercritical on myself. But then also, they're doing the best thing for you because they see it as an objective point of view rather than a subjective, if that makes sense. What I'm trying to say by that is they look at it as someone else's physique rather than their own, which is what we do to ourselves. But then most importantly, that accountability of actually checking in to someone other than yourself on a weekly basis. You know, you don't want to check in looking fat because then you're going to disappoint them, and having a coach that you can look up to and trust as well makes a world of a difference. But anyway, I've just gone off on a yap streak. Time to enjoy this splendid meal. Oh, I'm about to burn my hand. That is everything done. On the last little time lapse, I will put the total macros and calories up on the screen. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, but thank you so much for all the support on the YouTube. I appreciate it more than you know. I love making these videos. I've been such a roll on making them because guess what? I enjoy it, and seeing all of your comments and the messages I get on Instagram makes me feel so, so good. I appreciate it, and every single one of you have been using my code and purchasing through the link in my bio as well, or the description. Means the world to me, guys. I appreciate you a lot. And everyone who's inquiring for coaching as well, whether you watch the YouTube or not, I appreciate every single one of you as well. I truly do have my dream job, my dream life, and it's all down to every single one of you behind the camera, all my clients. Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. I'm very, very grateful. So last little thing, I end it off. If you're new to the channel, I always like to end off the video on something slightly motivational. And today it will be something that happened to me, right? About showing up whenever you don't feel like it, right? About knowing that if you're doing things that others aren't doing, you're separating yourself from the normal, okay? And you're proactively working to make yourself a better individual. Showing up on the days where it's hardest, where you don't want to do this specific thing, is where you will see the most progress, because that's where you learn and develop, so that next time it happens, it's easier for you. And for the other people that don't try and don't push on, it will carry on being hard from them, and they will never ever pass that plateau. But guess what? You will, okay? So on that note, chase your dreams. Have a lovely rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you guys. As I always say, catch you in the next video, which is probably going to be a full grocery tour, grocery shop haul, whatever. I'm going to take you in a trolley, put some AirPods in, pretend like I'm speaking on the phone, and take you through a few bits and bobs that I buy on cutting diets or bulking diets, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, that's that. I'm starting to lose track of my words because I'm just staring at this cream of rice. Also, little beard update coming along nicely. Cheeks aren't really growing, but hey ho, I said I am growing it out. I'll just keep trimming it to 3 millimeters until the end of the year. If it doesn't look good or hasn't grown out by the end of the year, it's gone, okay? Anyway, I've made this way longer than it needed to be. See you later, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and catch you in the next one.